Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you all how to connect the bank controls. We're basically going to finish off getting the foot controller to work 100%. So in order to do that, we are going to do something called set driven key. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the animation tab here. Instead of rigging, we're going to switch to animation. Then we're going to go to key, and we're going to go down to set driven key, and then set, and we're going to hit the settings box. Now this is sort of similar to the connection editor where we were clicking something on the left side and then reloading something on the right. So we do have to do that. And then we'll also have to set the keys themselves, and that's a little bit more reliant on us. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my left foot controller selected, and I'm going to click on load driver. On my driver, on L bank, now this is where it gets a little confusing, but on L bank I'm going to go to my L reverse inner joint. I'm going to do load driven, and what I want you to see at first is that we're going to be rotating it like this. So what we're basically doing is it's just a little weird. So on left bank, okay, it equals 0 right now, right? Bear with me. On L reverse inner, the rotate Z is going to be at 0. So we're going to go to rotate Z, and they're both at 0. So you got to make sure this one's at 0, right? L bank 0, and then this one, L reverse inner joint, rotate Z is 0. So what we're doing is we're telling Maya that we want this left bank control when it equals 0 to on the reverse inner joint on rotate Z is going to equal 0. And then we're going to click on key, and you're going to see it turns like a darker blue. It used to turn red, but now it turns blue. Alright, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Reload, load driven. I was saying reload right, load driven. So on L bank, on rotate Z, I believe it'll be rotate Z, we're going to see the foot, yep, rotate Z. We're basically telling L bank at 0 and rotate Z on the joint. We're going to 0 is going to equal 0. 0 on this attribute is going to equal 0 on this attribute. And we're going to go key. Now, this isn't going to do anything yet. Okay? So it's not going to do anything yet. So now I'm going to say when, I don't know, let's just go 75. So when this foot controller, right, on the L bank equals 75, so now we've set it to 75, and on the same outer joint, make sure, you know, it's load driven. When this is at 75, we're going to click on key. So now, as long as we did this right, L bank, on the L bank control, I'm going to hold middle mouse button click. You'll see when I bring it to 0, when I go past 0, it's not going to do anything because we haven't told it to do anything yet there. But at 75, it'll do that now because we've only set it to this outer joint. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Load driven, rotate Z. And on this side, it's probably, okay. So now when this goes up to 75, we'll set this one to be 75 also. Rotate Z 75, right? We're going to tell this one on L bank to be negative 75. Oh, I'm sorry, you have to do this one first. So set the bank to negative 75. and then set this one to positive 75. And that's where it kind of gets tricky. And then we're going to do key. And now what we've essentially said is that when our bank controller is at 0 on rotate Z on inner and outer joints, those will be at 0. And when we're at negative 75 on the bank controller here, right, this joint will be at positive 75, and vice versa. So when this is at 75, this joint will also be at 75. So just to kind of show you how it works, I'm going to do it again on the other side. Alright. So here, we're going to select our foot controller. We're going to do load driver. And then on this, we're going to do load driven. So I know it's R bank and rotate Z. So again, the best way I can explain this, when the R bank equals 0, right? R bank equals 0. R bank inner joint on, or R reverse inner joint, rotate Z will also equal 0. So when this bank equals 0, rotate Z on this joint equals 0. And then we'll do key. Now, do the same thing on this side, load driven. Right? Rotate Z. When basically we're saying is when this bank control is at 0, this rotate Z, because we highlight rotate Z here, will be at 0, and we just click key. Again, like before, we haven't really told it to do anything except when this is 0, that's at 0. Alright? Now that we have that done, what we're going to do is we're going to I'm going to start on, I guess, which side did I do positive 75 on? L bank. Okay, so on the outer joint here, I'm going to do load driven, rotate Z. So I'm going to tell Maya that on R bank, when this equals 75, this joint on rotate Z will equal 75. And you'll see I have them highlighted up here, and then I click key. Same thing here. Now I've already told it when it's going to be 0, that same joint is going to equal 0. So now I'm going to do it on this side, load driven on rotate Z, and I'm going to go when this equals negative 75. Remember, I have to set it on the controller itself first. This one will equal positive 75, and then we're going to click key. And now let's double check it works right. So when I go, oh, wrong controller. When I go right, and the foot is doing the banking properly. Okay, so banks left, the banks right, banks left, right. Okay, or banks in, banks out. So it's just a super cool little tool to have for any type of animation. And then the last thing I'm going to do for this particular one is I'm going to take this controller and I'm going to parent it to the foot controller. So this outside joint, L reverse outer, I'm going to hold shift and highlight my foot controller, and I'm going to press P, and now what you should see is the entire foot will animate around, and then just like so. Alright, so same thing here. We're going to select the outer joint, shift select the controller, and P. And now our entire foot rig is almost complete. We've got one more little section to do, and we're going to take care of that next. In another video, I'm going to cover how to connect the knee joints to a controller, because even though they're directly controlled by this foot controller, we can actually change the rotation of the knee. We just haven't added that type of connection yet. So, um, anyway, that's all I've got for you in this video. Um, Stay tuned for the next one. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. I know this is a tricky topic, but try your best to get it right. Okay? And yeah, again, shoot me any questions if you have any. And thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.